Okay, gentlemen, we went over the rules of the dressing room. Obey my commands at all times and protect yourself at all times. Touch him up, bell rings, come out fighting.
When Roy Jones Jr. was in his prime, he was so good, we didn't know if he was great. Could he overcome adversity? Could he beat the odds? The odds are against him tonight.
Back up, back up. Okay, gentlemen. Look.
Rarely have two fighters more visibly projected confidence before the opening bell. And immediately Calzaghe chases Jones to the ropes, missing with a sweeping left hand. One problem for Jones in the fight, how to find ways to deal with the greater frequency of Calzaghe's punches. He says he can do it with power.
Well, I think Jones's attitude is right in the fight. You know, the thing is both guys have fast hands, and I think Jones has a little bit more crack in his shot than Calzaghe. And at this stage right now, Calzaghe is fighting the fight that he wants to fight, and Jones is fighting the fight that he wants to fight. Jones is basically going to try to make Calzaghe burn himself out by throwing a lot of punches and then explode with his own combinations on the counter defense, counter move.
Jones has always had devastating power. The reason he hasn't scored even more knockouts is because he thinks safety first oftentimes. Doesn't want to expose himself to danger.
Right, with Trinidad, Trinidad hurt it quite a few occasions, but he would back off because he knew if he threw a few more punches, he would take a risk of getting hit himself.
38 knockouts in 52 wins for Jones. However, no knockouts since February of 2002. It's been 6 years, 9 months since Jones has knocked an opponent out. And that's because he hasn't been committing to his big punches.
Well, he landed the only real punch of this round so far, a counter right hand.
But he also gives up. Calzaghe lands inside.
Yeah.
And particularly to the body, Calzaghe is landing his stuff.
Well, to the elbows. I haven't seen too many clean shots, even downstairs, from Calzaghe, at least not to my eye.
Work out of it, work out of it. Break! Okay, break!
Calzaghe knows that Jones is quicker in the center of the ring, and down goes Calzaghe. Just as he was down in the first round against Hopkins, he's down in the first round against Jones. And Jones makes his point that he can hurt Calzaghe in flurries inside.
But he may not make it out of this one like he did with the Hopkins.
He's much more hurt.
He's seriously hurt. The other one's more of a flash knockdown.
Much more badly hurt than against Hopkins. And fighting rather than trying to get away. Calzaghe's going to take the chance that he can keep fighting with Jones after taking a big shot.
Well,
and he goes forward, wading in. But Jones is going to have a 10-8 round with which to begin the fight.
But this is not something that Jones likes to do, so he may end up, if he doesn't stop Calzaghe, getting in trouble himself.
An amazing turn of events in round one.
This guy open for it, okay? Let's keep working your jab a little bit more. You'll be able to see a lot of stuff. He's flinching on you when you jab at him. Feint and go. Feint punch.
Here we see Roy Jones land a jab in the eye, which really obstructed the vision of Calzaghe. And then as Calzaghe was going down, he got hit with a punch that Jones just shot in anticipation of where his head was going to be. Perfect punch.
Although it looked like he hit him with his wrist.
Yeah,
his forearm.
But he didn't see it. You know what I mean? He didn't see the punch.
So there's blood on the bridge of Calzaghe's nose. He's already been down in round one. Jones has a confidence builder. And just as was the case against Hopkins, Calzaghe has to dig out of a hole. CompuBox numbers in the first round, Calzaghe 13 out of 58. Jones 9 out of 34. You can expect to see Joe try to boost his punch output and go to a higher number.
Watch your feet, watch your feet.
It's clear that Calzaghe still wants to be the aggressor.
But you know, Calzaghe has never lost a fight, and I think he's probably been down about 4 times in fights, which shows that he does have the ability to come back. And at this stage right now still, the fight is like, to me, a toss-up fight. It could go either way.
Down in the first round against Chris Eubank, won the fight. Down in the second round against Byron Mitchell, knocked Mitchell out in that round. Has shown the capacity to come back.
To understand how spectacular Roy was at his best, he's not nearly as fast now as he was, and yet he's outspeeding Joe Calzaghe, who I thought was the fastest light heavyweight around, at least this side of Chad Dawson.
Come on, let go, let go, let go.
Can he do it over the long stretch of the fight if Calzaghe can make it go round? And here's what will hurt Jones most if it keeps up. When he leans against the ropes and puts his hands up and lets Joe throw, Joe gets to pile up points.
Well, you know, Joe is still very much in this fight, because he's still, I don't know, Roy can go at this pace himself, because Joe's going to go at this pace all night. He may be a little sloppy sometimes in his defense, but Roy, as we said earlier, hasn't knocked out anybody in a long time. Scoring a knockdown is one thing, but a knockout is different.
This time Calzaghe slips the Jones right hand and lands a couple of little body shots inside. It's abundantly clear it's a different fight in the center of the ring than when they go to the ropes. And Calzaghe seems to have his legs under him now and a greater ability to withstand what Jones throws. Jones lands another right-hand shot that brings people out of their seats.
This point of the fight, I think Roy Jones is making Joe Calzaghe look like a washed-up Felix Trinidad. He seems to be countering well, picking off most of Calzaghe's shots. Although, of course, Jim, you're right. In the middle of the ring, it's more obvious, I think, Roy's advantages in clean punching.
Bring him up.
Blood trickling down Calzaghe's nose. Jones backing into the ropes and giving Calzaghe a chance to just throw away. Many of the punches blocked, but some of them landed on the ribcage.
But outside of that one good, beautiful, clean right hand that Roy landed, he didn't do too much more. And that round could have possibly still went to Calzaghe. I thought Joe outworked it. Roy's punch was just a very good flashy, attention-getting punch.
Try to stay on his right shoulder just a little bit more. Yeah, stay on his right shoulder a little bit more, okay? Don't square up too much. He can't hit you, but don't square up too much over there on his left hand, okay? Don't square up on his left hand. Stay on his right shoulder a little bit more. You're going to be able to get your hook in.
His right side?
Yeah, stay on his right shoulder. Just line up on his right shoulder.
To my left?
Yeah. You'll be able to get your hook in. You're dropping that right hand quite a bit.
Joanna Larvin, Joe Calzaghe's girlfriend, one of the stars at 24/7, much to worry about early in the fight.
Let's go. Clear the corner.
How many times have you seen the fighter's wife or the fighter's girlfriend unconsciously put her hands in the praying position? And apropos of what you said, Emmanuel Stewart, in the second round by CompuBox numbers, Calzaghe landing 23 of 76 to Jones 8 of 34. However, Harold Letterman gave the round to Jones on his scorecard. That would put Calzaghe 3 points in the hole in a fight in which he hopes to dominate the second half of the fight. Good body shot by Calzaghe. Left hand upstairs by Calzaghe.
Over the last half round or so, Calzaghe is landing much cleaner to the body. And he gives judges every reason to score for him, Joe Calzaghe does.
Come on, work out of it, work out of it.
Good body shot by Jones. Calzaghe unfazed. Goes at him with his hands held low.
You know, Roy's punches are much more flashy and much more powerful. But, you know, unless he
throws
really...
one punch at a time, and Calzaghe throws 6.
And that's what I'm saying, and I don't know if he's ever fought anybody like this. Calzaghe is not just, he's a big man. You know, it's very, very difficult to just take punches from a tall guy like that.
Calzaghe showboating in the center of the ring.
You ever thought you'd see that with an opponent against Roy Jones?
Good right hand by Jones. Hard body shot before that by Calzaghe.
And this is what I expected Roy to do, boy. To just cover up, walk him down, and try to force Calzaghe to burn himself out by throwing so many punches while he's blocking him.
Calzaghe taking Jones's punches much better now. And landing when he fires back. Hacking Jones's guard out of the way with the right hand there.
I mean, Calzaghe is standing in front of Roy Jones with his hands down, showboating, and carrying the round.
Watch his shoulder.
I don't think either fighter has ever fought anyone with the speed that the opponent has tonight.
It's abundantly clear, at least with body language, Calzaghe is trying to portray to the audience and to the judges that he has weathered the storm, that he understands what's up with Jones now, that he's not faced by what happened in round one, and that he can swamp Jones with punch count from here. He has dominated round three.
We got to land some big shots behind that shit. Okay? Yep. All right. Make him pay. Make him pay. He's standing under the gun. Now you're going to be able to hit him with some stuff. All right.
Don't give him no breathing space. All right? Okay, Joe? All right? Yeah. You're bucking that good? Feeling good, babe? Feeling good? Bye-bye, Joe. Have a good round, Joe.
Here we can see both guys doing pretty much what I expected. Calzaghe throwing a lot of punches, showboating, dropping his hands. And I think it's really not that they're showboating. This is just part of each one of these fighter styles.
And that was exactly the kind of round Calzaghe wants to fight. CompuBox numbers in the round, Calzaghe landing 35 of 107 punches thrown. Jones 16 of 42. Calzaghe 28 out of 85 power shots. Harold, how do you have it through three?
Okay, Jim, 2 rounds to 1, 29, 27, Roy Jones. You know, you got to give him an extra point for that first round. The second round, I thought Joe still was a little bit stunned, and Roy hurt him. But the third round, oh my God, Joe Calzaghe put on a performance. I mean, the guy is so good. Just incredible third round. Anyway, 2-1, Roy Jones.
Jim, I think you nailed it when you said Calzaghe's showboating. He has to dig himself out of a hole on the cards, yes, but also psychologically, he's demonstrating that he is not showing ill effects of the punch and that he is, in fact, the guy in charge.
Well, actually, Roy's never had anyone do this to him. He's actually making Roy miss. He's intimidating Roy. He's hitting Roy with punches. And to me, outside of the first round, he's won, even though you may not have given it to him. I thought he's won all of the other rounds because he's just outworking Roy.
I think it's possible that some judges could have given him the second round, and right now his hand speed is accelerating and Jones is slowing down. Now Jones may be looking for a way to pick a spot.
And Roy is having a problem of trying to time Joe's hand. Joe's hand speed is bothering Roy now.
And keep in mind too, Joe was not knocked down by a punch. He was knocked down by a forearm or a wrist. No part of the glove actually hit him in the face.
And his corner has done a pretty good job so far of stanching the bleeding along the right side of his nose. So things are going well for Calzaghe again as we go into the fourth round. But again, he's digging himself out of a hole, having fallen behind in the first and maybe the second rounds. And you never know when Jones may lay another trap for him. Question is, has Calzaghe now tasted Jones's power to such an extent that he won't be shocked if he gets hit again with something he doesn't see?
I believe that's because look at the history of Calzaghe. He's always been that way. He would get hurt early and always come back. But I just think that his speed and his ring generalship is bothering Roy. Roy's never experienced this. And I think that the fact that Joe can do this all night.
That's right. You don't expect Calzaghe to slow down.
No.
Kessler waited for it to happen, and Calzaghe just kept building the tempo. And now he's attacking Jones with impunity in the corners. And throwing 3- and 4-punch combinations, which Jones tries to fend off one shot at a time.
He's beaten Roy in every way at this point here.
Good hard right hand by Jones.
With his hands down.
It may not be wise for him not to worry about Jones's power, but he's trying to portray that he's not worried about Jones's power.
Have you got me, Joe? Yeah, babe. Have you got you? He's chucking everything out of him. He's chucking everything out of him. The feint's killing him. All these feints you're doing is killing him, right? The left hand's working wonderful today, right? The left hand's working lovely. You know, Joe? Yeah. Breathe in, ass, breathe in. Cara, Joe, listen, I'm not even 2 spins up the hill lane. Not even 2 spins up the lane. You with me, Joe?
Yeah. Albert, you putting on his head while I'm talking to him, bro. Okay. I just got fight moving back.
Okay. Here you see Calzaghe get hit with punches by Roy, but I don't think they landed that cleanly because Joe was rolling his body with the punches.
And numbers aren't everything. Punch count isn't everything. But by CompuBox count, Calzaghe outlanded Jones 74-27 in the last 2 rounds. So on Harold Letterman's scorecard, he climbs back to within a point. If you're a judge who gave Calzaghe the 2nd round, which is possible, he would now be ahead in the fight.
If you're a Roy Jones fan, I think you have to be hoping that he catches Joe coming in with something hard, particularly when Joe is standing as he is now with his guard down.
And again, I'm not sure he really totally disrespects Jones's power, but I think he wants to show the ringside people that he disrespects Jones's power by way of making a point that he's not bothered by what happened in round 1.
And maybe show Roy that he doesn't respect his power.
Good straight left hand by Calzaghe, 3 right hands to the body, combination upstairs. Jones fires back with 1 right hand. This was the basic equation coming into the fight. A fighter who is comfortable throwing 75 punches around against a fighter who customarily throws 35 to 40. How do you rework the equation in your favor if you're Jones?
Well, Roy has not been that successful in landing too many clean punches. Even the punches the last round that, we gave him credit for. I think the fact that the steam was rolled away by Calzaghe, and Calzaghe is doing what he wants to do at this stage right now. I can't believe how he's dropping his hands and getting away with that with Roy Jones. But Roy's contact percentage has got to be very low. He's throwing punches, but he cannot hit Calzaghe.
There's a hard right hand by Jones. Calzaghe comes back working the body. Calzaghe blocks a couple Jones shots and slips the right hand there.
Break! No. Hooks.
Body shots by Calzaghe. Jones backs away. Joe hasn't landed anything really solid upstairs in a while, and he takes another hard right hand shot by Jones. This round may be on the table with 50 seconds to go. Calzaghe begins to try to apply his volume formula to it.
Well, I would have to give Roy so far this round here the way it's going. At this point.
Why would Roy allow someone to stand in front of him with his hands down when he can punch is beyond me?
Well, that's his way of trying to make Calzaghe get tired.
Calzaghe lands a big left hand.
Yep.
Now the round belongs to the Welshman.
Yep.
Jones lands a left off the ropes. Jones's left eye is starting to swell.
Jones is being physically beaten as well as outpunched.
Hard right hand by Jones. Calzaghe with the right hand. They're going to fight down the stretch of the round.
Tough round.
And Calzaghe tries to nail it down with a flurry at the finish. Jones with 1 more big counter shot. What a round. Both fighters made statements there.
He penny packing. You feel him on the outside with your hands. Run something off the middle, champ. He pity-patting a lot. But stay on his right shoulder. Move to your left. Come on, try to get your hook in. If you feel that stuff on the outside, run something strong off to the inside because his punches is wide.
I know for 5 or 4 rounds this guy's gone. But don't be nothing careless. Don't be careless. Good job. Good job, Joe. Are you happy with yourself? Are you happy with yourself?
Here you see Joe Calzaghe throwing a lot of punches and missing a lot, but eventually he starts coming through with that straight left hand. And, you know, and if he can keep connecting like that, which I think he's going to be doing a lot more of that, Roy's going to have a rough time tonight.
Hold it. Hold it.
CompuBox numbers on power shots in round 5. Calzaghe 20 out of 58. Jones 18 out of 33. Calzaghe with a 12-0 edge in jabs. Jones had his moments in that round, but as you see, Harold Letterman gave it to Calzaghe. Once again, the activity rate puts Jones on the defensive. Slight swelling above the left eye of Roy Jones. Calzaghe with the blood stopped outside his nose on the right side looks pretty good. Pattern of the fight established as Calzaghe stalks and Jones looks to counter. Jones must have made a pretty good point in the last round because Calzaghe is suddenly treating him with more respect.
Roy's main punch in this fight has been the right hand, particularly the right hand lead, which he does so effectively. He's always gotten away with that. He's having problems getting that punch in with Calzaghe, and that's got him all off track because he's not really jabbing much. He's not throwing left hooks. It's the right hand lead that he's trying to, and that's not working. So he's having a problem finding anything that can be effective.
And slowly, imperceptibly, Emmanuel, it just appears to me that Calzaghe's body attack is beginning to take its toll. Jones looks a little bit more labored than at the beginning.
And also Calzaghe's rhythm, his in and out rhythm, it's not that easy to time. You know, he's not just a guy that's walking in flat-footed before you can time him which one. He comes in and out, and he has his own good defense when he's.
It looks to me that Roy is occasionally, when he circles, especially landing that lead right hand, it doesn't look like it's having a tremendous effect on Joe.
No,
and that may be having an effect on Roy.
Definitely. Because that's the main thing he worked on, and I'm quite sure Joe them have studied him very well and learned that that's the main punch they have to look at is for the little sneak right hand lead. And they've taken his best weapon away from him. And when you do that with any fighter, you know, it makes him, there it is again. And he's not been effective with it.
Hooks. Remember, Calzaghe is the master of making mid-fight adjustments to turn the tactical equation in his favor. Takes a big uppercut there. Excellent punch by Jones. And maybe Jones has found another way to land his right hand. And Joe fights back the way he's most accustomed to, by piling punches on. There's Bernard Hopkins sitting at ringside 3 weeks after his amazing triumph over Kelly Pavlik. A lot at stake for Hopkins in the eyes of many who think that maybe he would be a logical opponent for Roy Jones if, in fact, Jones can get past Calzaghe and win the fight. Hopkins picked Jones to win the fight, publicly proclaiming that Jones has greater power and should win.
Light, strong stuff on the inside. Don't go for the one big shot, okay? He's coming right back. Look, check this out. When you finish hitting him, if he go do that pitter-patter stuff, tie him up. Keep turning. Stay on his.
Here you see Roy Jones land a beautiful time uppercut right through the defense of Calzaghe when Joe least expected it. But beyond that punch, which was the best punch of the round, it wasn't too much landed by Jones.
While, according to CompuBox numbers, Calzaghe landed 30 blows and threw 91. And again, judges can see how many punches are thrown way more effectively than they can see what lands. We're halfway through the fight. It's gone by fast. Harold, how do you have it?
Okay, Jim. 57, 56, 4 rounds to 2. Joe Calzaghe. Jim, you just can't take it away from him. He throws so many punches in each and every round. Roy Jones lives one, two, three good right hands in a round. But other than that, the activity of Joe Calzaghe has to be winning this fight. I mean, I thought Roy deserved an extra point for round 1. Thought Roy stunned him in round 2. But after that, Joe Calzaghe throwing too many. 4-2 Calzaghe on clean punching.
Calzaghe a little bit slower, more tactical, more selective here at the beginning of round 7. Obviously still sees Jones as a dangerous quantity in there.
Clearly Jones is not as good as he once was. Against Tarver in their 3rd fight, there were opportunities for Roy to win, and he didn't take advantage of them. He's not as good as he was. The question remains, how great is he?
Joe is starting to get through with that left hand. Roy's going straight back now, and his reflexes are not what they used to be. And Joe Calzaghe is coming straight through with that 1-2.
And good counter left by Jones, another one. But prior to that, Jones was having trouble seeing Calzaghe's left coming.
And can Roy overcome adversity, which he didn't have to do at his best? He has plenty of it here.
But this is a good fight. There's a really, you know, to predict the outcome of this fight is going to be very hard. Because Roy still is punching with sharp, clean punches. And
solid left hand by Calzaghe. Follows it up with a couple of body shots. Another flurry by Calzaghe. Drives Jones back against the ropes. Roy may be momentarily hurt.
He's hurt. Straight left.
Blood above the left eye of Roy Jones. Calzaghe's punch is starting to do more damage. Calzaghe grins as he goes back to the hunt. Jones has landed a couple of good counter shots, but Calzaghe is wearing Jones down with the constant assault. Again, the hand speed flurries by Calzaghe. Jones gets him off with one punch. Calzaghe dropping his hands and staring at Jones and watching the blood flow and going back to work.
And all this said, Roy is fighting valiantly here. He's fighting hard.
I've never saw Roy Jones cut, but I've never saw him knocked out until he got knocked out by Tarver.
Calzaghe showboating again, taunting Jones as he pushes him into the corner. Jones is landing good, solid counter shots, and Calzaghe now is walking through them.
Yeah, the signature punch right now is a straight left hand of Joe Calzaghe.
Bring it up!
And that is some cut above the left eye. Calzaghe worked it, and finally got it to open up.
Okay, give me a towel. Give me a wet towel. Okay, you just got a little nick, champ. Yeah. Keep them hands up on the inside, baby. Don't drop them, okay? All right? Look, when you finish punching, tie him up and turn him like I told you. You're going to start that flurry after you come. Don't wash the medicine out of his face.
This is the straight 1-2 that I was saying earlier in the round when I saw that Calzaghe was handing. He landed it straight in the eye, and I think that's what caused all of the damage to the eye. Perfect left hand, and you're going to see more of that same punch coming in the next couple of rounds, probably.
Copy box numbers in 7. Jones landed more than half his punches. 22 out of 41. But Calzaghe was 38 out of 72. A 53% connect rate, more than 70 punches thrown. Very hard for Jones to compete with that kind of assault.
Okay.
You know, Max Kellerman, I think I did see Jones once come back from adversity. The last 2 rounds of his first fight against Antonio Tarver, when he absolutely had to win those rounds to win the fight, and he went out and made his point one body punch at a time.
He did. I don't quite think it's exactly the same dynamic here. Tarver was not applying this kind of pressure. Tarver at the time was not considered this kind of fighter. Roy was not this cut and this hurt in that fight. But you're right, he did demonstrate in that fight the kind of fighting heart we like to see in our great champions.
Tarver didn't have the kind of speed and relentlessness that Calzaghe has.
Exactly.
Calzaghe is a whole different guy. His mindset, he's that of a winner. He's very, and I'm surprised how physically strong he looks and bigger than Roy, too. But he's a totally different fighter than Tarver.
Off the top of my head, in 57 Roy Jones fights, I want to say this is the worst cut I've ever seen him experience. They did not manage to do anything close to stopping the bleeding between rounds. And Jones starts to seem to show a sense of desperation as his feet and hands begin to move faster.
Yeah, in the Tarver fights, in this third fight, there was a kind of a concession on Roy's part. I don't see him conceding here. He's still trying to win.
Absolutely. Fighting with more will and heart than was the case against Tarver or Glen Johnson.
Break! Stay in front! Stay in front!
And we just got word from Roy Jones's trainer, Alton Merkerson. No, he's never been cut. And obviously, nothing ever like this.
No, I've never saw him cut, and I've been watching him fight since he was a 15-year-old kid in the tournaments. Never saw him cut. That straight left hand of Calzaghe is the punch that right now he's better watch out for.
A challenge for Jones and a chance to show a kind of valor that he's never before had to show.
And there is redemption in that, in terms of criticism he may have received in the past for not fighting this way. But it's not the same thing as winning the fight, coming back to win. Still far from over. Perhaps, depending on how long he can go with that cut.
Calzaghe has taken a little bit of a vacation this round, but now begins to apply the pressure again.
Well, I feel he's got control over the fight in every way.
And when he's able to push Jones into corners, he's totally in control. And now the combinations and the hand speed, and Jones looking to land one big shot. Calzaghe wrestling him into position, dodging the left hook, firing away again. He's swamping Jones with activity and willpower and desire.
How you feel?
I'm good, baby. I'm trying to get him, but I can't get him.
I know, baby. Lock up.
I'm going to hit so hard. I'm going to hit hard. I'm going to hit hard.
You got it, Doc?
Are we close? Is all we close?
No.
Okay,
no.
good. You can't stop the bleeding?
Hold up, let me stay with me.
Even though Calzaghe didn't throw a lot of punches this round, he was placing his punches in show button. He looked like he was targeted to the left eye and placing his punches very selectively.
How much longer do you let Jones go with that cut, Emmanuel?
And yeah, I don't see what they're doing. I don't see them using the adrenaline. I don't know what they're using, if anything, to do anything to stop the cut.
You okay? All right, move that way. Hold on.
This is a great, great fighter.
Yeah, I think it was Dr. Vernon Jordan up there, but I don't think this fight's going to
This
go
is an
much
icon
longer.
in the sport. You don't want to see him badly hurt. You don't want to see Calzaghe get too many free shots against an eye that is bleeding that badly.
Rocky Marciano's nose is hanging off his face. 7th round of the Ezra Charles fight. The ref said you have one more round. He knocked Charles out. Those are the kind of dramatic moments in a great fighter's career that people remember. Of course, Roy is almost 40 years old, facing a younger, fresher man.
But you know what? Roy's still fighting to win. A lot of guys like this would just be on the defense, especially at this age. And I can't take a risk against him, but he's trying to win this fight.
He realizes, I think, that this is his last chance on this stage.
And here's how difficult the prospect it now becomes. In 32 Roy Jones fights tracked by concubines, Calzaghe has now landed more punches than anyone has ever landed against him. 244 shots.
I wouldn't be surprised if you excluded Tarver and Johnson if you said combined.
It's an onslaught of the kind that Jones has seldom, if ever, had to face, and certainly not on a sustained minute-by-minute basis.
But this is what he can do. As long as he was aggressive going forward, Calzaghe didn't do anything, but he cannot back to the ropes and let Joe get his momentum going. But I don't think he can do anything about it at this stage.
Well, Joe does give him chances by dropping his hands like that. and Roy can punch with both hands.
But it's Joe who's doing the punching, and Roy who's having to cover up. Jones shaking his head.
Break!
He asked his trainer between rounds, is the eye closed? As if he can't see well enough to know whether his eye is closed.
I can't believe a big super soft fighter like this. It seems like there's no one in the corner doing anything for a cut. Even if they're between rounds, they're trying to go ahead and find someone else, another trainer, and get some coagulants or something.
Well, he's always done it his way. He's always been his own boss. No big name promoter. No big name trainer. The king of Roy Jones's world was always Roy Jones.
Break!
5 previous appearances in Madison Square Garden, he won them all. Came into the ring tonight and knocked Calzaghe down in the first round. It might have been another road to glory. But then, reality started to set in. You know it's cruel, as in a boxing ring. One more big right hand to punctuate the round for Calzaghe. And Jones, streaming blood, returns to his corner.
Wait a minute, Doc.
Get closer. Yeah, get closer.
Oh! You gotta lock up on him, though. Let me put some pressure on him, Doc.
All right.
Give it here. I got it. Keep your eye closed, champ.
All right.
Keep your eye closed. Wipe that blood off his face, Al.
Head good up. Head good up. Back of the head.
Not with the water.
Okay? Tasting him towards you in the second round now. Now, get it into the spirit.
That's it.
Yeah. And I want him out in 11s. There's nothing left in him. He's just wait.
I gotta get his face cleaned off. Keep him long, champ. Try to hit him with some long shots.
Okay, I'm trying, but he ducked off and was counting with the hooks.
Okay. All right, second, clear the corner. Let's go. Go, box.
Calzaghe begins the 10th round with a couple of body shots. Harold Letterman, how do you have it coming to the 10th?
Okay, Jim, 87-83, 7 rounds to 2, Joe Calzaghe. Jim, Roy Jones Jr. uses a physician in the corner to stop cuts, but Dr. Richard Lucy is on the right-hand side of the apron, and the cut is on the left-hand side. And I don't know why Alton Murchison doesn't get out of that ring and let the doctor work in front of him and stop that bleeding. But be as it may, Joe Calzaghe running away with the fight. You got to wonder how much longer they're going to let this go, because Roy's taking a beating. 7-2, Calzaghe.
And it doesn't appear that Jones can see out of his left eye. No. He told Alton Murchison between round he would try to land some hooks. His left hook keeps sailing past Calzaghe's head. Max Kellerman is ready with Dr. Richard Lucy in the corner. Max, what's up?
Dr. Lucy, how are you treating that terrible cut?
Well, we started with adrenaline, then we put some thrombin in it. We're plugging it up with Avatine when we're done. So we did 40 seconds worth of stuff here, and then everything we got, throwing it in there.
Do you feel you're in the right position and you have enough time to work on it?
Don't hold.
Yeah, I think so.
Thank you.
So the Jones corner believes they're doing all the right things. Bottom line is they have not been effective in stopping the bleeding. And Jones is badly compromised in the ring. This started along about the second round when the swelling started to show up above his eye. And to what degree, Emmanuel Stewart, is this simply a case of a fighter who's almost 40 years old, getting hit with punches he hasn't caught before?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with Joe Calzaghe. Just one tremendous fighter. I think he would have been a very, maybe not beaten Roy in the front, but he's been a competitive fight for Roy than anyone. Very smart fight. He makes tremendous adjustments, good chin, good stamina. It's a very, very difficult guy to fight. But there's a lot of guys throw punches, but they just run in. He goes in and out. He's very, very difficult to right there. See, he pulls back, and he'd always be a threat for Roy anyway.
And therein lies the danger of fighting well past your prime.
Yep.
That people speculate, well, I don't know, maybe Calzaghe would have beaten Roy at his best. After all, we just saw him beat him. No one's walking through Joe Calzaghe, that's for sure, but at his best, Roy was pretty special.
No, he was really special. But at this stage of his career, it's a rough guy to fight. But this guy, I think, would have been a problem always for him.
Bring it up. A problem for anyone. And the fascinating thing is that at this point, Roy's only chance, it would appear, to win the fight is that he lands something huge and turns it all around by hurting Calzaghe, and Calzaghe's still giving him chances to do it. Calzaghe would be within his rights in shutting down and holding his hands up and coasting to the finish, but he's giving the crowd a show.
No, he's putting on a show still. I'm very disappointed with the way they're handling that cut.
Right from head. What I'm head. Yeah.
What a man proof, bro. Give me that bottle. Give me a bottle, man.
My head good. Come around to his hand. My head good. This is one, Merc. One, Merc.
Again, the danger to Calzaghe here is that he gets caught with a counter. So what does he do? He throws 105 punches in the 10th round, making it clear that he doesn't care about the danger.
Come on, guys, you gotta get a
That's commendable. What I don't understand is why he continues to leave his hands down in front of Roy, because you can throw those punches and keep your guard up.
Believe it or not, that's just part of his style. You see him even training punch on the pads. He does that even on the pads, man. That's just his style. And he's very comfortable doing that. And he feels he has enough control over this fight now.
In other words, if there's any fighter of the last 10 years who's as cocky and super confident as Roy Jones, it's Joe Calzaghe.
Yeah.
And yet it gives Roy chances.
Yes, it does. But
maybe that's what Joe thinks is the right thing to do. Maybe he is, in his way, showing respect for Jones's great reputation and record by saying to him, all right, look, I'm not going to back off. I'll fight in such a way that you've still got an opportunity here. And I'll beat you anyway.
Very sporting of him, Jim.
Don't hold, let go.
Well, he is Welsh. I think he's also, frankly, slowed Jones down to the point where basically he sees it coming.
Yep.
Yeah, he feels he has enough control over himself. He was doing this when Roy was real sharp in the beginning, so now, but with Roy fighting virtually without of one eye, he feels probably extremely comfortable.
I think also, given that Roy at his best was the best fighter to fight in the weight class in which Calzaghe accomplished the most, super middleweight, Calzaghe's taking some pleasure in beating Roy Jones as Roy Jones would beat a fighter. He's out Roy Jonesing Jones.
And Jones is now talking full time. Impossible to tell what he's saying, but he's talking to Calzaghe the whole time. Probably something to the effect of, you can't knock me out. Probably something about making it to the finish line.
Well, there's enough blood for this to be the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, and maybe Roy is pulling a bit of a Jake LaMotta here.
Reference to LaMotta versus Sugar Ray Robinson, and the line was, you never knocked me out, Ray. You never knocked me out.
Break.
What a closing act for Joe Calzaghe. If this holds up and he in fact walks away, these pictures will be a part of ring history for years to come.
And he's had a phenomenal career. If he ends up doing what he's doing and beat two of our legendary greatest fighters here in America at the two biggest arenas, Las Vegas, New York, never lost a fight. Phenomenal record.
To beat Jones with Hopkins sitting at ringside, after having beaten Hopkins with Jones sitting at ringside.
Yep.
Not a bad way to close it out.
And beat two undefeated good fighters in Jeff Lacey and Mikhail Kessler.
Right down the other one. Open cut out.
Hold up, Doc.
Open it right from the inside. Open the lead or right from the inside. Open it right inside.
Okay.
Now you're talking. Now you're talking.
Get it in there. Let me hold some pressure, Doc.
And attack with the A's first. Bam, bam, the A's, right? You with me now? You're in me with me. Get a jab, dominating. A jab, you lift up the body. Jab, jab, wow, left hook. Jab, jab, left hook the body. Yeah, tonight. Bro, you pissed it. Winning. Winning. But you make sure you win now. You make sure. 21 minutes.
12 years ago in 1996, Roy Jones knocked out Eric Luca in the 12th round. It was the only 12th round KO of his career. Calzaghe's never had an 11th or a 12th round KO. The crowd rises to its feet to acknowledge the drama of what they've seen in Madison Square Garden tonight. Referee Hubert Earl has a shirt soaked with blood. Calzaghe and Jones still have respect for one another. Two guys who agreed via cell phone text messages to fight each other with a 50-50 split. Not about the money, about the pride.
Roy knows the only shot he has to win here is to land a home run punch. And he seems to be measuring Calzaghe to try at least one before the end of this round.
You know, you couldn't really blame Calzaghe if he just stayed away and ticked off the clock, so to say, this last round. Because, I mean, he's got everything to lose and nothing to gain. In fact, Roy is moving in, but he's got to let some punches go. He's just getting in position, caution, but he won't let the punches go. He's got nothing to lose. And whatever he throws, he should talk with full power with either hand, but he's not punching.
This is not one of those unpredictable scoring panels of which we've seen a few in New York in recent years. This is Jerry Roth from Las Vegas, one of the most respected veteran judges in the game. Julie Letterman from here in New York, who is a top-flight judge and a real expert. And Terry O'Connor of Wales is from Wales. So you don't expect Calzaghe to get upended by anything utterly unpredictable at the end of this one.
No, Roy's going to have to do the upending if he hopes to win. So far, maybe he's throwing maybe his second punch of the round.
And Calzaghe's walking in with his hands down and giving Roy every chance to land something big, but still dominating the action. Crowd wants Jones to try to do something. They should be thrilled that he's shown such courage as to finish the fight with that kind of blood on his face.
He's got a lot of respect from a lot of fans tonight based on his performance, even though he's losing the fight. I think it's really did nothing but enhance his respect from the fans still.
Yeah, but what would enhance it even more, I think, is if in this last 45 seconds, he at least gave the impression that he was going all out to win.
Yeah, and maybe Calzaghe shouldn't showboat quite so much. Maybe Calzaghe should pay a little bit more respect than to take advantage of this to really try to embarrass Jones down the stretch. Just fight, Jones. You've made your point. Good body shots by both men. Jones takes one last home run swing, and Calzaghe drives him back with a couple of blows. Crowd rises for what might be the last time in the ring for both men. Just could be farewell. And if the scores are what we anticipate them to be, based on what you see there from Harold Letterman, then Calzaghe's win over Jones will be in some ways a carbon copy of his win over Hopkins. Down in the first round, loses the first couple, and then swamps the opponent with greater activity.
Unbelievable ability to recuperate from knockdowns. and come back and win fights.
Julie Letterman, good dossier of credible decisions in the past. Had Jones over Trinidad, 117-109. Very solid, predictable judge. Terry O'Connor from England, not from Wales. 11 title fights, none noteworthy enough for us to list them here. And Jerry Roth, as experienced as anybody with 142 title fights in his background. Had Marquez, the leader over Pacquiao in their second fight, a fight barely won by Manny Pacquiao. So Harold Letterman gave the last 10 rounds of the fight to Calzaghe. It seems possible that a judge may have found one or two in there to give to Jones, but it's also possible that judges could have given the second round to Calzaghe. Other than that, it seems pretty cut and dried. And let's see if Calzaghe has made it to 46-0 as Michael Buffer reads the scores.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at Madison Square Garden, New York City, we go to the scorecards. All three judges, Jerry Roth, Terry O'Connor, and Julie Letterman, score the bout 118-109. To the winner by unanimous decision, the fighting pride of Newbridge, Wales, still light heavyweight champion of the world, Calzaghe.